Before we dive in, please note that the views expressed today are my own and are for information purposes only. They are not intended as investment advice or any recommendation. We will be talking about certain companies, but those are just examples, not representative of any investment we've made. Past performance isn't a guarantee of future results. For full disclosures, please visit our website at r136.vc. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Victor Orlovski, and we start today a new series of podcasts, Ventures from the Valley. And this is me who is here a guest, and my colleague, Austen, is a host. This podcast series is a shorter version. So we will only be with you here for like 15, 20 minutes at maximum half an hour. And we will be mostly talking about either news and events that are happening as we speak. And that's what really is important, we think, for our industry and what we're doing. Or we are going to speak about our portfolio companies. So this podcast today is a reflection about eToro, the company from our portfolio one, which is vintage of 2014-2015 fund. And eToro is far the largest investment in our Fund 1 portfolio. Very classical. We have invested first in Series B back in 2015. And then we heavily invested throughout the lifetime of our participation and joint ventures with the company. We invested in secondaries. We participated in all subsequent rounds above pro rata, and that ended up to be over 30% or almost maybe 30% of our invested capital. So we are very proud of having this company going public. And I think that this company has a really bright future. But let Austen ask a couple of questions, and I will certainly like to answer. So Austen, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Yeah, very exciting times with eToro going public recently. Very cool. So let's kind of start chronologically here, going back to your first meeting with eToro's founder, Yoni Assia. It was 2014, right? You were in Tel Aviv, and Fintech was still kind of relatively in its early stages. Maybe kind of take us into that room. What specifically stood out to you about Yoni and eToro that made you think, okay, this is a founder and a company that I really need to pay attention to and back?
Well, back in 2014, 2015, I was still very much in operators, like between operators position and founding this venture fund. And before I started R126, what is now being known as R126, I was in operators SIT. Was in charge of a very large technology team, over, I think, 20,000 engineers back then. We have managed to build one of the largest digital banks in the world. Back in 2014, it accounted for almost 45 million weekly active user base. And that was bigger than Bank of America, Chase, and Citi all together. We were also number one customer of Apple Pay and a very early adopter of it. We were far the largest payment platform in the region. And we really were looking for some solutions in the market management in like offering our a vast majority of our retail base in that region, great platform to invest into stock, into a variety of different asset classes. Since I stepped out of this financial institution and started the venture career, I really understood well what is coming next in that regard. That it should be a platform which is one-touch, kind of a one-touch platform, where you can invest into any given asset class in just a click of a button, basically. On top of that, we were thinking of this to be a kind of a two-sided marketplace where consumers meet professional traders. With that, we started looking into the space, and we found this company eToro out of Israel, which I was amazed with. So the first thing I just started using it as a product for myself as a customer. I had a little bit of painful process onboarding. I had a little bit of painful process wiring money. So KYC and the money transfer was not an easy thing back then, but I managed it. Once I was onboarded, I was amazed by usability, flexibility, operationability of this platform, which gave me a vast line of different products and different markets. And what I liked the most, an ability to copy trade, because I didn't have much time to trade myself. So back then it was kind of a real innovation when you have you could have chosen a trader with whom you can just follow, whose trade you can follow real time online. And that's what I started doing for myself. As I said, I quickly realized the beauty of this platform and that it will be extremely challenging to create one within the financial institution I was recently working for. So I came to see Yori. It was pretty easy because he was very open to discuss partnerships. I wrote him an email, and he quickly responded. And that's how we basically started talking about potential engagement. So it was two-sided cooperation. Basically, we invested in B rounds, but we also orchestrated a very good deal for eToro. This bank and eToro came into agreement to basically create a kind of virtual joint venture and start doing business in the region. With my help, eToro has managed a very good kind of onboarding with the bank, easy onboarding. Very quickly, we have managed the interfaces and plugins to banking system. So any customer basically in the bank could just deploy kind of eToro app on a fly through his or her own app, banking app. So basically, you press a button saying, I want eToro, and then eToro gets all credentials. Then you get like one-time password. You click OK, you sign up for terms and conditions, you're onboarded. Now, money transfer is easy. So just with a swipe of a finger, you just simply transfer whatever you want to eToro account and start trading and backwards. The same thing you could have done with almost like 50,000 ATMs. So when you deposit a card, like touch screen or whatever, ATM would promote you eToro, and then you say, yes, I want to connect, and then with a click of a button on ATM, you are connected and passed through eToro. So once you download an app, eToro already recognizes you as a customer, because the entire KYC and everything is done by the bank. So I remember the day when we announced this partnership, and the day after announcement of this partnership, eToro bought, I think, more users than in last 3 or 4 years of active marketing in the region. And it was an unprecedented success. I think that was one of the best deals I ever participated in, but I think it was also very good for both this bank and eToro. So since then, we became friends and partners, and really, I tried to support this company as much as I could. So that was like a long story of even a longer engagement of like almost 11 years now with the company that became like a friends and family for myself.
Awesome. Yes, I've personally heard you describe Yoni as a visionary, kind of someone who saw the potential of cryptocurrencies and blockchain, long before kind of Wall Street took notice. So as a venture investor, how do you differentiate between founders who are genuinely visionary and those who might just be chasing kind of the latest trend?
I think, well, obviously, I can't say I have like a good nose for people. Also, although I have a great experience working with people, and this experience comes from the pain. Obviously, you become kind of more experienced and you know people better. So I can't say that I was born with this skill. So I acquired it with quite a painful process of learning what's good, what's bad. But what I can tell definitely about Yoni, he inspired me from day one. The way he can tell you a story, like very emotionally, but also very precise. He's very hands-on. He knows what's going on, but he's a visionary. It's very different skill to be a visionary leader, but also to be a hands-on manager. And to combine both is extremely difficult. What I really was impressed back then, that it was already a company with 7 years of history when we invested. And he had a lot of people who worked with him from day one and who were so inspired by Yoni after 7 years working with him that I was surprised how come these people can still be so much inspired by business, by this man. What I learned through IPO process when I met all these people again, I mean, obviously I met them many times after, but when I met them, after many of them being like 13 years, 14 years with the company in 2025, same people were same way inspired. So this person can inspire him and keep it for long. I think that's an amazing thing. And he's one of the best storytellers I ever seen. He is so impressive, visionary man that I think I only seen like a few of this scale. But as I said, he respects people a lot. Unlike many visionary people I met in my life, he is a very respectful person, but also very open, right? He has like an amazing intuition. And one more thing, he's very resilient. You know, be inspired and be visionary. It's always like hard to like manage through like challenges, right? How can you be visionary when things do not go right? And there were um, many reasons to panic and many events through the lifetime of the company when company was not doing or feeling well, right? And was facing crisis because of crisis in the markets. So there were ups and downs. uh, Yoni was always like, no pain, no gain. That's his favorite saying. And I learned from him, and that I keep repeating to my team, no pain, no gain. He's very respectful and very like hard with uh, his promises. He always keeps a word. That's also unique, I think. He's not changing ways when it is concerning principles. I think that's an amazing think about him. Uh, so yeah, I think that he's a sort of a very unique guy. So I learned more through the like 10 years of working with him rather than like on the first day. But even the first day was very impressive. What I can say also that this is very entrepreneurial family. His dad was like and still is, of course, the first Israeli who went public with his company on Nasdaq. I think it was 1991. He raised, I think, $10 million at Nasdaq. He could never be the first again. I mean, he's the pioneer of going to Nasdaq, like IPO for Israelis. And this is the first time ever when the second generation of one family has gone to Nasdaq, IPO at Nasdaq at 700, I think 600 to $700 million raised. So as Yoni joked, this is a Wall Street inflation. Between like 40 years, it just between 10 million and $700 million raised. His granddad, by the way, was also a pioneer banker in Israel, immigrant from Switzerland. He pioneered a bank in Israel, which one of very few banks that survived and thrive in Israel nowadays. Yoni's wife is a great entrepreneur. She runs iAngels, one of the leading, I think, the leading angels platform in Israel, a unique business model. So that's a family of entrepreneurs. And when you get into this family, you just feel what the entrepreneurship is, right? That's an amazing thing. And I'm sure that I mean, Yoni and more have 5 kids. I'm sure this is a new generation of entrepreneurs coming. So that's how I see this family, and it has like truly amazing characteristics, all in all.
Very cool. Yeah, certainly sounds like a business acumen definitely runs in the family there, which is cool. Let's talk about crypto. So back in 2013, when eToro kind of first embraced cryptocurrencies, it was still a pretty niche, misunderstood market. So did you have any kind of doubts at that time? And as a VC, how do you balance kind of early adoption of emerging technologies with kind of managing risk?
Actually, when I'm asked whether I do invest in crypto, I say no. But then I remember always like eToro, which is very deep in crypto, and we also invested in blockchain.com. So when I say I do not invest in crypto, that's not entirely true. We do, but we do invest into infrastructure. So indeed, Yoni was the guy who introduced me to crypto. I think it was back in 2014. Not that I knew nothing about crypto, but he actually introduced me to Vitalik Buterin in one of the conferences. He said, "This is like a crazy Russian. You have to speak to him." And he introduced me to Vitalik, who is founder of Ethereum. And back then, it was not even Ethereum. I think it was like still an idea behind Ethereum. And I think, well, Yoni has like he is very very good like in understanding what is coming next in financial markets. He was a great deliverer and an early adopter of crypto. And I must say that I didn't believe crypto will be so important stuff for eToro and companies, platforms like eToro. We all know that Robinhood and Revolut and many others are so much now in crypto business. So yeah, I was not that much a adopter and believer of that. But now I try to keep listening to what Yoni is saying. So I obviously want to like find like a new niche, and now I'm more attentive to his beliefs and his visionary ideas. Yeah.
So his kind of conviction and belief in crypto is really, it sounds like it is really affected you too, and kind of your in your beliefs and as well. So that's cool. Now let's fast forward to 2022. eToro was preparing for IPO then, but then market conditions kind of forced them to delay. As an investor and board advisor, how did you advise Yoni and the team to kind of navigate that setback, and then maybe what lessons can other fintech founders learn from that?
Well, I believe that, frankly, that's my assessment now, and I can't say that this was my assessment back then. eToro got a term sheet and was very close to go public through de-SPACing. And the company was valued at, I think, 9.6 billion or something post money. And it was like weeks before company was to go public. And Yoni and the team pulled trigger saying, we are not going to go. I mean, it's not a good timing now. And I think that the entire board and everyone supported that because markets started to feel like pain, and especially crypto assets started like to be extremely volatile, and all this like FTX and crypto failures were very disturbing for the market overall. It was summer 2022. So, of course, back then it was like a bit of a like just felt like it's like very unfortunate for the company. But as I said, now I think it was the best thing what could have happened to eToro not to go public, because we see how companies that de-SPAC other companies, many companies that has not done so well. I think de-SPACing really didn't work well because many companies were not ready to go public, to be public. And for obvious reasons, after this boom, after this hype, they were the first one to suffer from a decline in valuations. It's very hard to then actually climb back. So I think it was good for eToro. In my opinion, eToro was not 100% ready back then. So in 2 years, company matured enough, has rebuilt itself, has become more robust, and I think that it went public when it should. Right. Again, Yoni was, as always, very optimistic and realistic. He said famously, "No pain, no gain. We will do it later. So it's not a good time for us. We will find the right time, right window to go public." And that's what exactly happened. I personally think that this market is still in the very beginning of its inflation point. I think companies like eToro, and eToro is in a very competitive market, but in a growing and very interesting market. And companies like eToro, including eToro, is still like a fraction of what it could be, right? So could these companies be like 100 billion, 500 billion, trillion dollars companies? I think so, because people will keep trading. People want this kind of solutions, and I think that this active consumer trade is still in the like scratching the surface of the market, right? So eToro is relatively small in the US, and I think that where they have also high potential to grow. But this segment is growing across the globe. More and more consumers are finding ways to invest into stock, into a variety of different assets. And I believe that eToro will be instrumental in that respect for like every consumer in the world, right? So could it be as big as WhatsApp? Could it be as big as by users, number of users as Google Chrome? I think it could. So for that reason, I think that's a really very interesting asset class, a very interesting company. And I'm really thrilled to be part of that.
I mean, retail investing has definitely exploded over the past decade, right? Kind of, doubling from 10% to 20% of total trades in the US alone, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So as a VC, how do you see the future of retail investing kind of evolving? And what role do you think platforms like eToro will play in shaping that future?
Well, yeah, I think that for sure, again, there will be more asset classes coming to this kind of platforms. For example, if you want to mine Bitcoin, or you want to buy real estate, or you want to buy like different class of assets, like, I don't know, mining on asteroids, not only mining Bitcoins, participating into some energy trades, sophisticated commodities and stuff like this. This is gonna be deployed in this platform. So these platforms have to be like 360-degree asset class. Everything you can imagine should be on the platform. And I recently read the news about Robinhood that is launching the first ever index trade for private companies like Databricks and SpaceX and OpenAI. So we can buy an index of these three companies. That's an amazing thing. So it democratizes also private markets. At the end of the day, it will democratize also venture markets, right? So you will be able to invest into funds like ours, like into venture fund, through the platform like eToro. So I think that the first thing is indeed like building up every possible asset class, every possible investment you can imagine, which could potentially be done, should be done with a click of a button in your app. Second, I think obviously there will be a lot related to AI and Gen AI. So there will be more like sophisticated pilots and co-pilots and agents, right? So this robot advisory will evolve into like agents. So this is a big thing, and it will primarily be very competitive to current traditional asset managers. You will not need this kind of like services with people. It will be fully automated, and it's proven now that some of these GI platforms can do a lot better than people, right, in any other algorithms. I think there will be also a disruption in algo trading. And I've seen companies that are doing very competitive products in algo trading that will compete with citadels of this world, where absolutely like the cleverest people, the smartest people who now deploy strategies will be replaced by even more smart algorithms. And these algorithms will outcompete each other. So indeed, I think that AI will influence a lot this kind of markets. I mean, the money markets and this trade on both consumer and enterprise level. But I think that the most will come from tokenization, and the tokenization of assets, especially equity and fixed income, will give an enormous potential for platforms like this. I think that it's inevitably will come. So any asset will be tokenized, being it an IP, being it stock, fixed income, commodities, or anything. So it will create an enormous capacity in democratizing these trades further, also bringing up decentralized models into the trade. So I think that what is going on with blockchain, this real world assets, tokenization is going to be a big thing. So in itself is like a trillion or even $10 trillion opportunity. So we will see a lot going on in this field. So I'm really excited to be part of that investment team that is looking into the solutions and investing into this. As people who say that fintech is dead, I don't think right. I think fintech is just at the beginning of its thrive of its like amazing evolution, which will happen throughout next 10 years.
So I think you've mentioned that eToro's IPO has validated your investment thesis, right? So maybe kind of briefly unpack that investment thesis, specifically maybe in the context of fintech investing. Kind of what was the core idea that you're betting on?
Well, first of all, we only invest into what we really understand well. So we are also very actively supporting companies which we invest in. We sit either on advisory boards, we sit on management boards, supervisory boards, and even if we are not, we still are very close to founders, very close to managers. There are two specific things which we understand well. First is how to build technology, including finding like the right talent, but also scaling up technology teams. And that's where I really feel like I'm still kind of very competent and I know how to do that well. Second, we do understand B2B sales, especially enterprise sales well, and can navigate real like good sales strategies and help companies to bring up these partnerships throughout the world. So we only do software. We do post-revenue, B-round onwards usually. And the reason for that is that we really know how to scale companies. So we probably are not the best investors for like product market fit, but we are really good for scaling up. And we are very founders friendly. I think that that's what everyone can say and want to say, like every investor tries to be founders friendly. We are relatively small in terms of our check size, but we are relatively large compared to our check size. So we leave a bigger income, bigger sorry. Let's do it again. So we leave a bigger impact with our energy and focus and advice rather than with money, right? And I think that we are much bigger in that respect than the check size we are signing, although it's like not small at all, but our impact is way bigger. And that's what we are trying to build, that our impact with our advice, our commitment, our energy and focus should be bigger than our check size.
Yeah, and you provide value beyond just a check. Of course, you bring your experience, your knowledge from your career and everything like that. So maybe last question here, before we wrap up. You've described eToro as family. It's clear you respect Yoni so much and the team. Beyond the financial returns, what does the IPO for eToro kind of mean to you personally? As a venture investor, as a board advisor, and as someone who's been pretty deeply involved with the team for almost a decade or nearly a decade.
Well, frankly, I was definitely a happy investor. With all this, we are one of probably 3 or 4 largest investors in preferred stock in eToro. But it was much less of my personal joy rather than I saw like over 200 people at this event from eToro. And a lot of eToro team members came with families, wives, kids, husbands. And that was an amazing event for them. And we could only do so much. And I felt like we are advisors, we are co-coachers, we are mentors, whoever, but we are not the one who is playing on the field, right? I was really happy for the team. And I think that's so important to see how those people who worked hard for so long achieved so much, and they really deserved it. So I think that was like a feeling of be happy for them rather than just be happy for myself. And my thesis was always I'm not searching for alpha. I'm trying to build alpha with people who I'm investing with. I like the quote from Vinod Khosla, whose podcast I recently listened. And he quoted that investment is a side effect. Investment is a side effect. And money which you get with investment, I mean, if you invest wisely and if you're lucky, is a side effect too. What is not a side effect is a true commitment to the mankind, true commitment to innovation and transformation. And I think that that's important. For me, this is not words. This is my life. When I was CTO in the bank, when I was a system engineer, a software developer, when I'm a father of my kids, when I'm a partner to my wife, when I'm a manager to my team or investor to my startups, I'm always about the future of mankind. And this is not a bluff or a fake. For me, it's not a utopia or dystopia. It's just my life. That's how I see myself. I want to be part of this huge transformation our mankind, our humanity has gone through in last thousands of years, and we are witnessing an unprecedented moment in history when innovation is coming with unprecedented pace, and I'm thrilled by that. So that's basically an answer to your question. Maybe it's too pathetic, but that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I speak for the audience when I say, thanks so much for sharing your insights and your experiences and your stories and your perspective on the eToro IPO. Congratulations again to eToro. Yeah, incredible milestone. Definitely excited to see what's next for the company and, of course, for our 136.
Awesome. So this was Ventures from the Valley, brought to you by Austen Legler and Victor Orlovski. And this is a solo where Victor, myself, answering questions, and as a guest, and Austen is a host. Thank you, Austen, for being a host on this podcast.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ventures from the Valley is brought to you by R136 Ventures.
To find out more about R136 Ventures and how we scale mid to late stage startups by unlocking their true potential through investment,
visit r136.vc. We'll be back soon. In the meantime, make sure to click and subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes.
On behalf of our team here at R136 Ventures, thanks for listening.